All right, part two back here. So, yeah, I got the most cumbersome part is the clips right here. So those take the most time to get off, that one and that one. And again, as I said, this here regulates the pressure for the fuel flow in the engine. And as you can see, this is kind of old. So yeah, it was a good idea to change it. And yeah, that's how I got this out. So now this one, it's a little bit bigger. So hopefully it'll go okay. So the red one, that's the fuel in. This goes up, it gets distributed. One goes to the carb, this goes all the way into the carburetor, and the other one goes, well, I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, we're gonna put this in now, and I'll show you how that goes. A lot of times it's easier just to undo that hose and undo the bottom here, so that way you don't have to futz with this clip here. So yeah, it goes pretty quick once you get everything going the right way. So got it already in, and the hose is back on. Tightened up the top clamp first, and now I'm moving the bottom clamp up, and voila, it's in right there. So the most cumbersome part are these two clamps. Yeah, terrible design here with all these lines running in here. You know, they gotta really do better with those. But yeah, we got a new fuel filter in there, and yeah, longest part of the job, a couple of clamps, and it's not hard. So now the most troubling part of this job, I have other parts here for my other lawnmower, and I just have to say they gave me the wrong parts, so I have to go yell at somebody at the store tomorrow. But yeah, so for this job I got my Craftsman, you guessed it, made in USA. This is an old ratchet with, you know, extension, and this is a 5/8 socket for spark plugs. It has, as you might be able to see, it has the rubber grommet in there to make sure that it doesn't break. So also both pieces are made in USA, and I should specify I'm using a 1/2 inch drive ratchet. So now I come over to the other side of the mower here, and you know, there's the oil drain, there's the, you know, one of the solenoids, and then there's the starter solenoid, and there's the actual starter by itself. Fits up right in there on the flywheel. And here is where the spark plug is. Last time I did this, I cut my hand, so I'm gonna put the phone down to make sure I don't cut it, and yeah, we'll change it out. So I set my parts down, and I wiggle on the, you know, plug, and I inspect the plug and make sure everything looks good. Looks good to me. Nothing's broken, nothing's cracked. You know, everything's still together, so that's good. And there is the plug. It is a Champion RC 12YC plug. The parts store gave me a cross-referenced CS6 made in Japan. That's okay, it's an NGK, and the 4-digit code on it is the M9YM. So it should fit. So now I take my socket wrench and I put it on there. And I easily undo it. And it's coming out real nice and easy, which is a good thing. And then once I get this down and it stops clicking when you turning it, then you can unthread it by hand. Should note there's no gapping required on these plugs. They're already done from the factory for small engines, so don't try to be a genius and re-gap your plug, because you'll just end up screwing up your mower or other small engine that you're working on. So, yep, it's getting close to the point where I can just take this off. And there are my tools right there. And see, now it's good enough to turn out by hand. Oops. Alright, so there's the plug, and as I said, it's a Champion RC 12YC plug. Nothing special about it. They're decent plugs. Yeah, I replace them, try to replace them every season. You know, nothing too fancy. So now, as you saw, I took it out a good part of the way with my hand. You know, there's nothing fancy. It just goes in the hole right there. It's hard to see, but that's where it goes. So now, as long as I don't drop it somewhere, very difficult. And should also note, working on a cold engine is a lot easier than having to work on an engine that's, you know, uber hot. So now we just line this thing up. And if we can get it started, we can get this thing to start moving. I prefer Champion plugs, but NGKs are okay for small engines. Why do I like Champions? I don't know, just something I grew up with, I guess. And then now I'll take my 5/8 socket, 1/2-inch drive, and I'll stick it on here to give me a little bit more of a hand as I'm turning it. So you see the spark plug is turning in there. And then, oops, almost dropped the extension. Flip my ratchet the other way. And if we could get the square end to go in, there we go. Make it snug enough. And I dropped the other two tools. And it was a little snug on there, but got it off. And then we take it, and it goes click, and it's all installed. So again, people charge a lot of money to do that kind of stuff. It's pretty easy. As you see, I did the gas filter, the spark plug, and the air filter in about 20 minutes time. the shop, they'll charge you 2-3 hours worth of time and charge you probably about anywhere between $150 to $300 to do it. So yeah, that's about all here for my Deere mower, John Deere D110. There is a maintenance schedule that they want you to take it to the dealer, or you do every 50 hours or so. I try to follow that. Other than that, mower's been pretty good. I have the blades out to be sharpened because I do not have a bench grinder to do that, and they suck to do by hand. So because the heavy 10-pound tractor blades, that's a lot of heavy gauge steel. So anyways, Outdoor Guy 365 about to wrap it up here on my John Deere D110 100 series tractor. All right, YouTube, catch you later.